Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Okay. All right. This happens to everyone. It can't just happen to me. It happens to everyone. Where you hear a story from someone else and you just like, your imagination runs wild with it. You're trying to visualize what happened, and it's just so funny. Years upon years ago, my mother told me a story about her brother, her oldest brother, my uncle, that involved a football, a church, and him falling through the church roof. So, apparently, according to her, I didn't hear the full story until I asked my uncle. But according to her, it was her father, who was a preacher at the time before he passed. God rest his soul. He was a preacher, and her brother came along. It was some tour. It was either some tour or they were visiting another church to help out, like what do you call it? The sister. I don't know. I don't know how the branches of churches work. I don't know how that works. But they went to that church somewhere in New York where they were living at the time. And the funny part is, when she told me the story, I thought it was taking place in Puerto Rico. Because after they lived in New York, they moved to Puerto Rico to be near family and I guess something new. And I guess my grandfather may have had an opportunity there. I don't know. I didn't ask and it was never explained. But they went to New York. And for some odd reason, I thought it was Massachusetts, but it wasn't. They went somewhere in New York. And they went to the church. I don't know if they were there to help out. I don't know if they wanted to see how everything was going. I don't know. But they were given a tour of the church, and there was a certain part of the church where on the roof was a football. My grandfather, knowing his son, knowing my uncle, turns to him and tells him, "You leave that football alone. Don't go near that football." And sometime later, my uncle didn't heed the warning, and he went on the roof, got the football, ended up falling to the roof. When my mom told me the story, I was laughing. Years after being told that story, we went to Puerto Rico. And I was spending time with my uncle. We are the same. I can understand why he said, "Are you sure you're my niece? Are you sure you're my niece and not my daughter?" I told my mom that. My mom was like, told my uncle, "You're so stupid. Of course she's my daughter. You're so stupid. She's my daughter. She's your niece. She's my daughter, okay?" She goes, "He's so stupid." So I had asked him. I was with him. I was running errands with him, and I had asked him, "Uncle, is it true that you fell through the roof of a church because you wanted a football?" He laughed. He goes, "Who told you that?" And I said, "Mom." He's like, "Oh my God." He goes, "Yes, it's true." And I said, "Tell me what happened. Like how? Why'd you do it? What happened? How did it happen?" And so he tells me that they went to the church with their dad, and he saw the football. He was in fact told by his dad, "Do not get the football." According to him, if I'm remembering correctly, he said he waited until the dad was out of sight, to the point where his dad would have known. He said, and the way he described it, from what I understood, from what I'm remembering, he said that it was like multiple buildings of the church, something like that, because people were living there. People were studying there. They were living there. He said he went on the roof of one building, and to get to the other roof where the football was, he said he had to climb like a fence that was like almost along the building because people were in fact living there. And so he said that he climbed over a fence to the other building where he climbed on the bars of the windows because people were living there, and I guess it's to avoid, people breaking into stuff and things like that, which is weird, but I don't know. That's what he said. That's what he said. So he said he climbed over the fence, climbed over the bars of where the bars that were protecting the window, and he went on the roof. So he went on the roof and he got the football, and the roof gave way. He said that as he was doing that, his father was in like the main church area, the main service area where they give the communions and stuff like that, however you would call it. And and there was a woman, like, I don't know if it was a full packed church, he didn't say, but he did say there was a woman who was in the church. And when he fell through, she was yelling and screaming, thinking that it was the end of the world, that something happened. And apparently all my grandfather could think, like, that's my son. My uncle not only falls through the roof, but he manages to fall butt first in the pew. He manages to fall onto the pew in a sitting position. According to him, apparently they took him to the hospital and the doctor was in complete and utter shock, like, wow, like, you're still able to walk. We don't see any signs of injuries in your spine. We don't see anything like that. You should not be walking, let alone alive, because if you really did fall in the way you said you did, you would have been paralyzed from the legs down, possibly to the neck down. There is no way that, the doctor thought they were lying when they told him, hey, I actually felt, in a sitting position. He was like, it's either a miracle or you fell on a certain angle to a point where there was minimum to no damage, but he was walking. And then, and then years later, because apparently according to my uncle, he said that happened when he was 11, 12 years old, and my mom at the time may have been 7, 8 years old. So he said, fast forward to about 3, 5 years later, they went back to the same church where he went and got baptized. And the woman, recognized him. So she goes up to him and goes, I know you. And my uncle goes, yeah, it was nice to meet you. She goes, no, I know you. And he goes, yes, I'm sure you know me because my father is often the preacher that comes for a visit here. She goes, no, I know you because you fell through the roof. You didn't give me a heart attack. Oh my God. I'm like, there's no way. When I first got told this story, I was like, ain't no way. There's no way. There's no way. Because I thought my dad was crazy. My dad had the crazy adventures with his family when he was growing up. And according to my mom, the basic rebellion of, oh, my dad's a preacher, what, I'm just going to do my thing, blah, blah, blah. They did rebel. The stories that my uncle told me, yeah, we did a lot of crazy stuff. Don't let your mom fool your shit. But, yeah, to hear that and get confirmed, I'm like, dang, Yeah. My mommy knows. Yeah, no one ain't fooling nobody, but yeah. I don't know, he brought down the house. Or in this case, he brought down the church.